45-year-old Brittany Tavar's disappearance in 2010 started a nationwide manhunt.
The bottom line is, without his confession, they would not have found the body. And I think without the body, I'm not sure it's much more difficult to prove a homicide without the body.
2010年7月、ブリトニー・タバーという一人の女性が突然姿を消した。翌日に裁判を控えていたにもかかわらず、彼女は法廷に現れず、自宅からも姿を消していた。友人たちが家を訪れると、そこには少し開いたドアと、つけっぱなしのエアコン、そして飼っていた犬たちまでも消えていた。異常なのは明らかだった。ブリトニーは、困っている人を放っておけない女性だった。その優しさから、自宅の空き部屋に人を住まわせることもあった。だが、その善意につけ込んでいた男がいた。捜査が進むと、彼女の車、クレジットカード、宝石がなくなっていることが判明する。さらに失踪後もカードは使われていた。彼女のカードの使用履歴を追った捜査員たちは、ATM 映像の中に、彼女の車を運転し、彼女のカードを使う一人の男の姿を見つけた。その男の正体は、ブリトニーの家に滞在していたジョー・ロバーツだった。ジョーは、ブリトニーの持ち物を持ったまま、各地を転々と逃げ回っていた。だが、その逃走は長くは続かなかった。シアトルで食べ物を盗もうとして拘束されたことで、ついに足が止まった。そこは犯行現場のあるフロリダから、およそ4800キロ以上も離れた場所だった。その頃にはすでに、フロリダの捜査官たちが彼を追って現地へ向かっていた。こうしてジョーは、ブリトニー・タバー失踪事件の最重要容疑者として取り調べ室へ連れて行かれた。だがこの時、彼はまだ、自分が盗みで拘束されているとしか聞かされていなかった。
Joe, these gentlemen want to talk about your warrants out of Florida.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
What's going on?
George, Eric, Kit Brantley.
Joseph? What do you go by, Joe or
Joe.
Joe Brantley. Nice to meet you.
Sorry to pull you out in the evening. We kind of had some stuff going on, so we didn't get to it till now.
Okay.
But I appreciate you meeting. You are in custody. So before we get started, I do have to read you Miranda.
Okay.
I know the patrol guys did, I guess, yesterday, right, when they talked to you. But let me read this to you, and then we'll talk if you're cool with that, and I'll answer any questions you have. Are you from here, Joe?
I lived in Seattle for a while when I was growing up, like grade school, beginning of middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually born in Wisconsin and went to high school in Indiana. So
okay, so kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, what brings you to Seattle?
I was looking for change. The old friend, and I don't know, just I needed change. So.
Old friend?
Yeah, old friend. I hadn't talked to in a long time. Hit me up and was. So we got to talking, and I came up to here to see her, and that was about it.
A female friend?
Mm-hmm.
It's always women that make us run all over the country, right?
Yeah, they do. They do tend to do that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, how did you get up here?
I drove.
You drove?
Yeah.
What? Do you have a vehicle, or you borrowed somebody's vehicle, or what?
I borrowed somebody's vehicle.
Okay. And whose vehicle was that?
Girl named Brittany.
Brittany from
Florida.
What's her last name?
Tavar.
Okay.
こうして取り調べ開始から5分も経たないうちに、彼は自ら刑事たちにブリトニーの話をしてしまった。しかも本人は、車は借りただけだと説明していた。だが、その主張には大きな無理があった。ブリトニーが失踪してから、すでに2ヶ月近くが経っていたからだ。そんな状況で、彼女がこの男に SUV を丸々2ヶ月も貸していたとは、とても考えにくかった。
And where's that vehicle now?
And still here. I'm assuming that's what this warrant is about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Well, I figured you knew what it was about. I don't mean to beat around the bush,
no,
but
I'm assuming that's what it's about.
Because obviously, I'm sure she's wanting her vehicle back. I guess is the problem.
Yeah. So, I still. I mean, it's still here. I don't have access to it anymore. It's. Well, it was up by the library, so.
Well, what's your thought process on this whole issue with these charges? I mean, did she know you had the vehicle?
She knew I had the vehicle. I mean, I can understand. There was issues, and you know, so I don't get the $500,000 warrant. I haven't been able to get a hold of her ever, so I don't know what's going on.
この時点ではブリトニーの遺体はまだ見つかっていなかった。ジョーを疑う材料はすでに揃っていた。だがすでにブリトニーが殺害され、その犯行がこの男によるものだと断定できるだけの決定打はまだなかった。そうなると浮かび上がる疑問は一つ。彼女は本当に自分の意思で彼に車を貸したのか、それとも彼が勝手に持ち去っただけなのか。
What can we do to make it right? I mean,
I have no idea.
well, tell me this. Who is she to you? I mean, how do you...
She was just a friend. We met in a Barnes and Noble, and she wanted to start up a business, and I was in a real rut down in Florida, and I said, okay. And then she goes and buys me a computer so that we can get this business started, right? And I'm like, great, let's get it going. She lets me move into her house and start up to help her start up this company. Except the problem is that once I start getting going on this, I'm the one starting up the entire thing. And while she's helping me out a lot, it didn't work out because she didn't want to do anything at all for it. And it started, all the work. He kept changing from, oh, I'll help you with this to I'll help you with it. And so it didn't end up working out. Long story short, I was like, this isn't working out. We got in a huge fight on a Monday, a huge argument. And it was, I don't know, just basically about all this. And I was like, look, is there any way we can work out something else? Can I? And I was like, look, I have a friend in Seattle. I'd like to get to Seattle. Can I go to Seattle? And is there any way you can help me get to Seattle? And she was like, okay, yeah, you can take my car and go to Seattle. And I was like, great, thank you. And I will pay you back. And so she let me use her car and her cell phone. And I got in the car and cell phone with the cell phone, and I took off. And then a couple of days later, and she gave me her debit card as well, so that I would have gas money, and so that I'd have gas money.
すでに分かっていたことだが、彼は彼女のクレジットカードを使っていた。そして本人もそれを認めた上で、あれも借りていただけだと主張した。ブリトニーの友人たちによれば、彼女はとても親切で気前のいい人だったという。困っている人を助けるためなら自分から手を差し伸べるような女性だった。実際ホームレス状態の人たちを立ち直らせるために家の空き部屋へ泊めていたことさえあった。
What was the plan? How was she supposed to call you? Did you have a phone at the time?
I had her cell phone.
Oh, you had her cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so she was supposed to call you on the cell phone.
Yeah, she was supposed to call me on the cell phone. And unfortunately, the cell phone died because I forgot to grab it. When I left, I didn't have the charger with me.
Gotcha.
But long story, I figured she just got, something happened and she got pissed at me, and I'd also kind of screwed her over a little bit, so because I took some money and some jewelry, but
did she find out about that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
So you don't know? She never confronted you about that?
I haven't talked to her about it since.
How much money did you take?
A couple $100.
ここで一度ジョーが持ち出していたものを整理してみよう。彼は彼女のクレジットカード、SUV、現金、携帯電話、さらには宝石まで手にしていた。こんな話を聞かされても冷静さを崩さなかった刑事は正直かなり大したものだ。ここまでずうずうしい言い分を平然と聞かされれば思わず笑ってしまってもおかしくない。
How many cards did she provide you with? You said she let you use a debit card or something?
Credit card and debit card.
We said just one.
Well,
so what
I was only supposed to use the credit card, actually.
You were only supposed to use a credit card?
Yeah.
So why'd she let you have the debit card then?
Well, she didn't. that was kind of one of the things that I didn't even realize I had taken it until after I'd left.
Okay.
So,
So she obviously would have been upset had she known you had both, which she probably is upset.
yeah. And then then in Idaho, I got pulled over, and I actually thought because I hadn't heard from her or anything, and I hadn't called her, but I hadn't heard from her, and I got pulled over, and I was actually kind of worried because I didn't have an ID at the time. I had a driver's license, but I didn't have an ID. And it was my driver's license was in Indiana, and anyway, I was worried because I thought she might have like called it in or something. That's why I thought I was getting pulled over at first, so I kind of freaked. But
Well, how'd that go?
they let me go because I told them what was up. I was like, I'm just driving, well, actually I kind of fudged on it, but
Well, what do you mean? What did you say?
I told them that I was staying with my aunt and she was in town, and I wasn't from around here, and that's why I was speeding, because the signs were all crazy, which was true. The signs were all crazy. It was like 30-mile-an-hour speed zone, and like, I don't know, I'd been driving on the highway and I had a heavy foot, and anyway,
Right.
cop gave me a break, so I left and crashed out for the night and then took off.
取り調べが進むにつれ、ジョーは自分が置かれている状況を正しく理解できていないことが見えてくる。彼は話を取り繕うことに必死になるあまり、自分が口にしていいことと口にしてはいけないことの区別すらできなくなっていた。
So I have a question for you. I mean, car theft is one thing. Why is my bounty so high?
It's a good question. I was hoping you can answer that for me. I had warrants out of Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's concerning that it's that high.
Yeah.
I was hoping that maybe you could shed some light on maybe there's something more to the story than just that. I don't know. I mean, is there something else you stole from her that is more important than a car? I mean,
No, as far as I know, it's just the car and the jewelry and the cards.
right. But one of them, you said she let you use.
Yeah.
She let you use one of them, but she didn't know about the other one, right?
I think I should probably get a lawyer.
You think you probably should?
Yeah, I think I need to talk to a lawyer, because I don't know where this is going. Obviously something you guys aren't telling me. And yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
Okay. Well, can I talk to a lawyer? I mean,
Absolutely, that's your right.
Awesome.
ここで彼はようやく一つだけまともな判断を見せる。弁護士を求めたのだ。この時点で取り調べは終わりを迎えようとしていた。だが刑事は最後にジョーの心を揺らす言葉を突きつける。自分たちはすでに何が起きたのかを把握している。そう思わせた上で、この場をジョーに残された最後の言い訳の場であるかのように見せたのだ。
Well, listen, because you said you want to talk to an attorney, you're a smart guy and you know I'm not going to ask you any more questions about the case. But I do want to tell you, your family's very worried about you and they do want to talk to you. And you and I know that there's much more to this. And we were here to give you the opportunity to tell us what really happened. Because you and I both know that there's a lot more that happened. And we already pretty much know what happened. A lot of times, the reason we exist in investigations is to get the other side of the story. So that if this was a simple mistake or somebody, acted out in rage because somebody else did something wrong in self-defense, so to speak, then that's a totally different story than somebody acting out because they wanted to act out, if you understand what I'm saying. There's a difference between somebody that meant to do something and somebody that didn't mean to do something. That's all I'm saying. So just keep in mind that in order for us to talk again, you've got to ask to talk to me.
Okay. Well,
Because there's
and I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, let's just say, I need to know my options before I come back to you.
Of course, I understand.
Okay.
And I'd do the same thing if I was in your position.
You know,
But just remember, you have to ask to talk to me.
okay.
I can't come and see you, no matter what. So you've got to ask to talk to me if you want to talk to me. And know that there's a lot more that we can talk about. And you know exactly what I'm saying. And all I was here for was to make sure that this wasn't, you weren't some monster, but that this was a big accident. That's all we were here for.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Would you, do you want to talk to your aunt before I leave? Do you want me to get you on the phone with her?
Yeah, sure.
この過程で、ジョーが自分の判断を疑い始めているのがはっきり見える。司法制度を理解している人物なら、この瞬間は落ち着いて弁護士要請を維持し、その先は裁判に向けて備えるところだ。実際、この場面で弁護士がついていれば、彼はまだ逃げ回れる可能性もあったかもしれない。そして、今後の取り調べでは、ノーコメントしか言わなくなっていただろう。しかし、ジョーの立場からすれば、すでに遺体も凶器も発見され、自分への疑いは決定的なものになっているように思えたのかもしれない。だが実際には、遺体も凶器もまだ見つかっておらず、事件はまだ失踪事件の域を完全には出ていなかった。そのため刑事たちにとって、彼が弁護士を呼ぶという選択は、この事件を迷宮入りさせかねない、最も恐れていた展開だった。
Well, and I'll tell you this, I made a huge mistake. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I don't know why it happened. I don't even really remember it. I freaked out and I ran.
Well, you know, we all make mistakes in life. All of us do. I've made my share. George has made his share. And hey, some mistakes are a little bigger than others. But I mean,
we're human beings, is what he's trying to say. Remember that. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all the same.
Right.
And,
but yeah.
And we pretty much know what happened. You know, but
okay. Well,
what actually occurred that
I don't honestly, I don't know. Tuesday night we got in an argument basically, and I was so, and she wouldn't shut up about the stupid court case that she had to go to, and I'm talking when she wouldn't shut up about it. She would not.
She was obsessed with it.
Obsessed with it to the point where that's all she would ever talk about.
that was her life.
Exactly. And she wanted me to make these videos for her evidence so that she could get this restraining order. And I did that. And I did it a number of times. And that night she came, and I was supposed to go with her the next day to court. And that night she came to me again and said, hey, I need you to do these videos up for me again and make me 2 DVDs. I was like, okay. We got in an argument about something else. I don't really remember anymore exactly the details of it. But long story short, I was pissed, but I said, all right, I'll make you the DVDs. She was pissed. She was like, well, I don't want you to come with me tomorrow. And I was like, fine, great. And, you know, I went in my room and I watched whatever and I did whatever and I stayed up late. But I made the DVDs and I left them out on the counter. I went to sleep and I remember waking up, and it must have been early. And I remember waking up and hearing her go off about something, and I don't really remember much after that. And then I remember standing over her, and she's dead, and there's blood everywhere. And
We'll take a deep breath for a minute and think about the part that you're leaving out, like how she ended up on the floor with blood all over her. I mean, how did that happen?
Honestly, guys, I don't really remember. I don't know. I remember waking up and hearing her go off about no names on the DVDs, and I came out and I was yelling at her and calling her an ungrateful bitch, and then I picked up something and I hit her.
Do you know what it was that you picked up?
Hammer, I think.
How many times did you hit her?
I don't know, too many.
Did she run?
I don't remember.
Well, you're starting to remember. You're remembering a lot.
Just take your time. So what did you do
What did I do?
next after she's laying on the floor and
I covered her up with a blanket for a while, and I kind of freaked out and went and bought a pack of cigarettes, and then sat on the back porch and chain smoked about a pack of cigarettes until I had decided what I was going to do, and then I did it. And which was basically clean up all the blood, pour bleach everywhere, and basically my goal was to buy time. I didn't think I would be getting away with anything. I just thought I would be buying time.
ジョーの誤った判断、そして刑事の巧みな誘導によって、ついに完全な自白が引き出された。もしジョーが口を割らなければ、この事件はまだ失踪事件の段階にとどまり、殺人の立件にまで持ち込むのは難しかったかもしれない。そしてジョーは、自分が抱えていた事実を次々に口にしていく。それはまるで、この事件の答え合わせをしているようだった。
Like I said, fellas, you want me to be honest, I could have been gone. I've been in the country for, 3.5, 4 months now, I think it is.
yeah.
If you could have left the country, what was your plan? Where would you have gone? Canada?
No, that's what I wanted you guys to think. I was going to go south. I just ended up getting here, and when I got here, I reevaluated everything, and
We were getting all these sightings in Oregon, so we thought you were probably in the foothills and that you would be going south because it was going to start getting cold.
Well, yeah, no, I wanted you guys to think I was going north, and then I was going to go south. And when I got here, I was like, well...
Well, your aunt was mad at us in the beginning because we sent law enforcement to every place that you've ever lived at. So obviously that included her friends, and so...
Now, somebody did break into her house.
I did not break into her house.
I know that now.
We know.
It really threw us for a loop because here you've been on the run for so long, and then her house gets broken into in August? Middle of August?
Yeah.
And we thought for sure, I was like, oh my gosh, did he double back and get to Indianapolis somehow? And it was just weird. It threw us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to make sure is I didn't involve any of my family, and I didn't want them. I mean, I figured they'd eventually learn about it. I was hoping that it kind of sucks that you went to everywhere I used to live because.
Well, I mean, at the time, I didn't know exactly what had happened. I mean, we had to try to find you, so to speak. I mean, I had to assume that you'd try to go somewhere or that you were familiar with, you know?
Yeah, eventually I would have ended up in South America somewhere. Probably.
Is there anything you haven't told us that you think we need to know about this incident or anything else?
I don't think so. I think I've gone over everything. You guys already knew about the Walmart purchases and yeah.
The shovel that you buried her with, where's that at? Is that at the house?
Ooh, I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, I would assume it's probably at the house. Trying to hurry because I didn't want to get caught and all this, so it was not a decent burial, not anything she deserved.
I mean, do you think it's going to be obvious to us? Or is she covered up pretty good?
She's covered up, but I don't think it's covered up. I mean, it's been a minute. But she has trash bags, so over her, just basically wrapped around for. I guess I did for smell and
Is it wrapped around her whole body, the trash bags?
Yeah, because that'll help preserve. Yeah, I figured as much. Anyway, there's three of them, two of them, and then one of them's in the middle that was cut.
And then the blankets over her?
No, blankets were under
Blanket
her.
first, and then, okay, I got you. All right. Is there anything more about the actual event that you haven't told us? I mean, was it simply an act of rage and he used a hammer, or was there a different weapon? Was there more violence involved?
All I know is there was a hammer, and that there was a ridiculous amount of blood afterwards, and that she was still alive for a little while, and that her throat was cut as well, and I don't know how that happened.
Now, you're saying that because you're having an actual memory of seeing it cut?
I don't know how that happened.
Well, I think you know how it happened. You just,
Right.
you just don't
I
remember it.
I don't remember doing it.
All right, I got you. Yeah.
Right.
この答え合わせをするような空気の中で、ジョーはブリトニーの犬をわざと連れて行ったことまで認めた。彼女が自分の意思で出て行ったように見せかけるためだった。こうしてこの事件は、刑事たちにとって考え得る限り最も簡単な方法で答えを見つけることができた。彼がもし弁護士を呼んでいたら、どうなっていたのか。その可能性を、刑事たちも頭の片隅で考えていたはずだ。この時点では、遺体も凶器もまだ見つかっておらず、捜査側が持っていたのは、ジョーを強く疑わせる状況証拠が中心だった。被害者の車、カード、現金、携帯、宝石、彼が持ち出していたものはあまりにも多かったが、それだけで殺人を決定づけるには足りない。もしあの場でジョーが口を閉ざしていれば、彼は未だに塀の外で暮らしていたかもしれない。2010年10月19日、ジョー・ロバーツは第1級殺人で起訴された。だが最終的に彼は、第2級殺人の罪を認める形で司法取引に応じる。その背景にあったのは、自白を含む一部証拠が、裁判でそのまま認められない可能性があったからだった。検察は、無理に裁判で争って不確実な結果になるよりも、確実に有罪と長期収監へ持ち込む道を選んだ。こうしてロバーツは2014年、第2級殺人で有罪となり、懲役30年を言い渡された。
The bottom line is, without his confession, they would not have found the body. And I think without the body, I'm not sure it's much more difficult to prove a homicide without the body.